Well, about 10 years ago now, my husband and I were in New York, we're in Manhattan, and we're getting ready to board a train bound for Lincoln. Well, we arrived at the train station about 2 hours early, and we're like, well, we don't really want to sit on this hard wooden bench with all of our other train friends for 2 hours. So we went across the street to a restaurant. Well, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and it is packed full and busy, just like everywhere else in Manhattan. And so we decide, okay, well, we need to order something. What is the cheapest thing on the menu? Let's sit at the bar and order French fries and a side of ranch. So the bartender looks at us, and he looks at both of us, and he just kind of blinks, and he says, with no question marks, "You're from the Midwest, aren't you?" And of course, Dylan, my husband, answers immediately, "Yeah, we're from Nebraska," and they have this whole side conversation. Meanwhile, my answer is a little more complicated, and I immediately think two things. First of all, how dare you? I mean, you're insulting ranch and the Midwest all at once. Like, you're serving $16 cocktails to fancy people in suits, and we're ordering French fries, and you think we're unsophisticated. Like, what did we ever do to you? And then the second thing I thought was, wait, we're a we now? I'm from the Midwest. When did this happen? See, this is news to me because I grew up in Washington State in the Northwest, and in case you all haven't been acquainted with a Northwesterner, we are a little snobby. Yes, so we're snobby about two things, mainly food. So we have our cold brew coffee, our cold pressed juice, our organic food, our vegetarian food, our vegan food, our ethnic food. And when we're done eating, we enjoy our outdoors. So we have the mountains and the snow and the glacier-fed lakes. And when you walk out into the lake and you're waist deep in the water and you look down at your toes and you can see your toes. That's how clear the water is. And in case you missed it, this is the Northwest snobbery coming out a little bit. So everyone loves ranch, even in the Northwest. So I don't know if any of you ever have made ranch dressing at home. Well, I have made it in an industrial setting many times. So I actually, in high school, worked in my high school cafeteria, and we served vegetarian food only, which is a whole other story. But as you can imagine, about 500 hungry high school athletes coming through line in the cafeteria, and we're serving them vegetarian food, which this is back in the 90s. So vegetarian meat didn't bleed. It's mostly like some sort of congealed soy protein and some cream of mushroom soup. So as you can imagine, the hungry athletes are eating a lot of salad, and they're eating a lot of things dipped in ranch, which I got to make. So as a 14-year-old, I got to make the ranch, and this is done in a giant metal bowl about the size of an electric car. And you bring out these gallons of buttermilk and these giant seasoning packets about yay big, which have Hidden Valley Ranch messaging all over them, but I swear it tastes better when you make it. It's better. And then comes the mayonnaise. It comes in a 5-gallon bucket, and I'm 14, and I'm hauling this 5-gallon bucket from the cooler, which is like 5 times the size of my current closet, from the cooler over to this giant metal mixing bowl, and you like prop it up on the bowl, and you're scraping with this giant spatula, you're scraping all the mayonnaise into this mixing bowl. So I smelled really wonderful after work, and yes, I love ranch, even knowing what it's made of, which is mostly mayonnaise. So fast forward a few years, and my parents moved to Nebraska. And I moved with them because, let's face it, I needed a place to live. And I came rather reluctantly. I specifically remember on several distinct occasions saying, I'm never going to live in Nebraska. Well, famous last words, and I'm sorry. So one of the first things that I came to love about this place, about Lincoln, Nebraska, is the food, and specifically the ranch dressing, which is like a whole other food group here. I mean, you've got, sure, the chicken's great, the steak is tender, but what about the ranch? I mean, we've got Breda's Ranch, Amigo's Ranch, we've got Laszlo's creamy garlic, which is just bougie ranch. So yeah, I love ranch, and I love the people here who make the ranch, and I think this is one of the things that really bothered me in New York when this bartender is insulting my ranch and my people that I have come to love. It didn't sit right with me. So it's in that moment, and ever since I look back on that as the moment when I decided I can be from two places. I can be from the Northwest and the Midwest, but I come from one people, and my people love ranch.